You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show.
Wait, I can't whistle. I can't get it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Bingus for doing, and we are doing another episode of Castle Season 5, Episode 8, titled After Hours. I'm your host, Bamm Ericsen, and please, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host.
Yes, hi, I am Paige Sullivan, back again.
And I am Larice Shamar.
And we have a very special guest. He appeared in tonight's episode. Please welcome actor. You've seen him in such films as Die Hard with a Vengeance. You've him on TV shows such as My Name Is Earl, The Closer, Leverage, CSI New York. Please welcome actor Glenn Herman.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So tonight's episode was a really good episode. What did you guys think?
It blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right?
I actually really enjoyed the episode. It's like every week it gets better and better.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like waiting for next week.
Yeah.
We have to wait 2 weeks, actually.
Yeah, we have to wait for 2 weeks. And then, so what did you think of tonight's episode?
I really enjoyed it because it had a really interesting twist at the end.
Mhm.
You know, it threw me off because I really thought Leo was the good guy in
Yeah.
this particular episode. You
Okay.
know? And then also working with him, he was all nice and cool.
Okay. Okay, so let's dive into the dinner with parents.
Yes, so the parents. First, we don't know. It's Castle and Beckett, and they're dressed so nice. And I love when Beckett looks nice, and she looked so pretty tonight. And so they're sitting down to dinner with Castle's mom, who we see almost every episode, and this man.
Yeah.
And we find out it is Beckett's father. So it's Meet the Parents night, which I thought was interesting. And it was going okay until the parents started kind of talking to each other. And he thought she was a flighty actress who wasn't serious, and he thought she was boring and liked baseball. And so it was kind of this big mess of a dinner. And I think that's how it always goes when families meet. It's never, it's never clean. So this dinner really kind of set the tone for the episode.
Yeah. And then, so with that being said, then once the dinner is over, well, the first thing what happens is they get the page, as they always do, and there's a murder. So both of them have to leave, and they're really excited about that because they didn't want the bickering, the tension. They didn't want that, so they were really glad to leave. And so then you see them arguing throughout the investigation about, well, why didn't you
tell your mom to lay off my dad, or why didn't you tell your dad to stop calling my mom flighty? Like, it was just, I feel like this is everybody's family. It's not just them, it's everybody's family.
Yeah, I think always in the beginning, first time you initially meet somebody's parent, it's kind of that high tension, but when they really do not get along, it makes it even worse between the two couples, because then it's like, my parents is better than yours. It's like, why are we competing against our parents and we're dating each other?
Yeah.
So I think that was the big issue between them, because it really kind of carried through most of the episode, almost like I would say 75% of the episode, where it was that they was debating who parent is better, why are we bickering amongst our parents, and we should live for ourselves.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely an interesting twist.
Yeah. What did you think, Glenn?
Well, I mean, first of all, I just want to say it was interesting because the father, Scott Palin, I did a play with him, shock therapy. And he's a very serious, very focused actor. For him to be playing a character that was talking about actors, it was kind of funny for me. But to go back on the fact that when meeting parents, it's always just an interesting dynamic. When you have polar opposites and stuff like that.
But I think the cool thing about this one, at least the parents didn't continue hating each other. It was just the initial meets. Once they got to the precinct, once they found out that Castle and Beckett were missing, as parents, they went out to the precinct and they were concerned, and they completely forgot the fact that they didn't really care for each other.
They bonded over their common denominator,
Right.
their
Yeah.
children's safety, which was nice to see. And it's funny because throughout the whole episode, Beckett and Castle didn't let it go. I mean, it drug out the entire episode for
Yeah.
the two of them. But the parents were, it's history, it's fine. So it was kind of funny to see those two things paralleling each other throughout the whole episode. And it played a lot off of their own fears about their relationship, which I think is a big thing this whole season is about. The underlying issues of should they be doing this? Is it going to work out? Is it worth their time? They're not supposed to be doing it and working together. So this whole episode kind of drug up their fears that maybe once again they shouldn't be together.
Right.
I think any situation where it's kind of like a tragedy between two different families always kind of bring them closer together because they want to kind of make sure that their child or their significant other is safe. And you kind of touch on a point where the whole season is based around Beckett and Castle's relationship. In the beginning, it was like, oh, it's a lot nice, lovey-dovey because it was a secret. But once, like, most relationship kind of comes out, especially in the work environment, it started to become, like, more tension because now we work with each other, we go home to each other, but, like, are we really right for each other? And I think that's the biggest underlying issue now with Castle and Beckett is that they're trying to figure out, are we right for each other based on their parents?
I think it was more so Beckett who felt that way, and Castle was the one who says that our parents are just from two different worlds. Let's just get over it. Let's accept it and move on. It was more so Beckett, the one who was like, well, are we kidding ourselves? She was the one who was more the worried one, which we kind of noticed. She kind of worries and she kind of flips out about little things when it comes to, their relationship.
Yeah.
She makes calculated decisions
Yeah.
about everything she does. And like we've said about Castle, he's very creative. He goes off on a whim. He doesn't really care. He loves her. We know that he's loved her basically since they met.
Yeah.
And so for her, it's still something that she's considering how to make it work in her life. She puts up walls. She doesn't really date anybody. She doesn't really seem to have close friends outside of the precinct. So I think having this relationship is a struggle for her because she doesn't know how to have a relationship, especially with somebody she cares about this much.
Yeah, I think she's just playing like real cautious and everything. And with her looking at the relationship and the job relationship is that she really don't know how to differentiate work from her personal life. And everything just kind of revolves around work, and our love for each other. But I think she just need to kind of like take a step back, stop stressing about it, and just like Castle, just kind of relax and enjoy each other. And wherever it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anything else before we move
Well,
on?
From being on the show, you were on this episode. Are you a Castle fan normally? Do you watch the show a lot?
Not a lot.
No.
I watched a few episodes before I got on, but I'm not really much of a TV person.
Swear word.
Hey, I mean, it's so much time creating, so it's like, honestly speaking, I mean, it's not a lot of time in the day.
To watch TV.
But I try to watch as much as I can because I am an actor and I love performing on other shows and stuff like that. So when I do get a gig, I do my research and catch up on shows at that time.
So do you, having been caught up a little bit, do you like Castle and Beckett together? Do you think that's something you want to happen?
Of course. I mean, even watching them tonight, I mean, they're adorable, and then also working with them on the set. I mean, honestly speaking, I already felt that there was a couple anyway. I mean, because the energy was just so dynamic on the set. I mean, so I don't know what the situation is off camera. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I had a great chemistry the whole time. I mean, I really enjoy being around them on the set. So.
Well, we're gonna dig into that just a little bit later, so you guys make sure that you continue watching. But let's get into the actual murder.
Yeah, so you mentioned previously that in the middle of dinner they get a call. And so there is a murder, as always. I mean, it wouldn't be Castle without a murder. And so it's a priest, and he's killed in an abandoned warehouse. Don't really know why, but it seems like he's been assassinated, basically. And we said McMurtry, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a tough name this time. Can't get it straight. I keep messing it up. But so the priest, we'll just call him the priest.
Yeah,
because
the
it's
priest,
easier.
Father.
Father, yes. So he was murdered, and so the first people they talk to is a nun, and she clues the detectives in that he's been working with a good friend, Dolan.
That nun. She was a bitch.
Yeah, she was
Damn.
scary.
I mean, she was really, like, she was mean. Like, I'm not done talking. I mean, I was like, wow, sister does not play.
No, she did not. And
Yeah.
and it's funny because Ryan warned Esposito. He's like straightening his tie and getting all ready to talk to the nun. He's like, come on. He's like, it's like going into battle with these people. And Esposito's acting all tough like it doesn't matter. And when he gets in there, he's like, okay. Like, she yells at him. He's like, okay, I'll stop talking. And he stops interrogating her.
Yeah.
So it was really funny. That's my favorite part about Castle. They always just make it fun.
Yeah.
And that was a funny part.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody was murdered, but I still find myself laughing at this show, which I don't know if that makes me sick or something. But yeah, so they talk to the nun and they find out he's been working with a close friend, a childhood friend, Dolan, who is works with a huge mob, the O'Reillys, and he's basically a mob boss, I think, of some sort. And so now there's this huge mob connection. And so before we delve into that, we kind of find a witness, which leads us to Leo.
Yeah.
Leo is a complicated character, and we think he's just a witness at first.
Yeah, we do. We think he's just a witness, and he was running his mouth at the bar. And so the bartender overheard Leo telling what happened, and so then that's how Castle and Beckett was able to find him, which he was out, I guess, in Brooklyn, in the hood.
He was in the Bronx.
No, Bronx, yeah.
Bronx. At first I thought it was Brooklyn, but then later in the episode they said the Bronx. But he, so they go to his house to go pick up the witness and find out more about him, and they're kind of met there by some mobsters who are also looking for the witness, which is super typical mob stuff, I guess. Right. Take out the witness. This starts the whole episode is kind of based around this. Castle and Beckett are stuck with the witness, and the mobsters are chasing them. And I feel like that whole episode they were just running and hiding from the mobsters, basically. Right. And while they're doing that, they're fighting about their relationship.
And what was really cool about this is every time they were getting ready to leave or they were getting close, something would happen. So once they finally get Leo and they break in, they get outside the house and they get downstairs, then they run into Glenn's character, and then they can't find their car. The car's been stolen, and then they don't have their phones, and then Beckett breaks into a window to get someone's cell phone, which we kind of thought was like, well, why does someone leave their cell phone in the car? Anyway, I leave my cell phone in the car sometimes, but I guess y'all looking at me like I shouldn't do that, but I won't leave my cell phone in the car anymore.
Yeah, don't do that.
You should not do that.
But my cell phone wouldn't be visible. Like, it would be like in the glove. Well, I'm just not. I'm leaving
theoretically.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically speaking, like anytime you kind of outside your own comfort zone, especially now, you want to kind of take your cell phone with you, no matter where you're at. I think that's just kind of like a cell phone's like that safety net, for wherever you may be or wherever the situation may be. Because I feel like if Beckett or Castle actually had a cell phone, they probably wouldn't be running and ducking in the Bronx as much, and and going to like buzzing on people's doors, strangers asking for help.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember them dropping their cell phones, to be honest.
I don't either. That's where I miss. Why
did they leave theirs in the car?
That's when the mobsters came and at the door.
Yeah, but I thought they just dropped a gun and a badge. Like, I didn't see the phone.
No, the phones dropped off.
Did they? Okay. See, I didn't see that. So the whole time I was like, do they not bring phones?
Yeah.
Did they drop
and it was just a backup phone, her police phone in the car that they was talking about.
Oh, okay. So the phone that they did find, first off, I'm sure she felt comfortable leaving her phone there because she was about to come after whoever stole it. So she didn't seem like a very timid girl. Right. And neither was your character, which I thought was funny, actually, because Castle thought he had a tricky way to get the cops, and he's just, like, ringing the doorbell.
Right.
Until you were about to come and kick his butt back to where he came from.
Yeah, and he kind of called your blow for a second, so... Let's talk about that just for a little bit. Let's talk about your character and the whole scene. Tell us a little bit about it.
First of all, it was very interesting. Donna Rosenstein in the casting process when we came in, because they was looking for a big burly guy. So all these big guys was in there, So I had to come in and just be a little bit more intimidating. And we ran through it about 4 or 5 times, and they just looked at me like, wow, okay. And so I get on the set, and before I left, Kendra, one of the casting associates, was like, play it a certain type of way. So when I get to the set, I played it that particular way. But the director, David, was like, we really want you just extremely mean, you know. And so I mean, so by the time Nathan got on the set, you know, it was just this chemistry where it was just like, it was so intimidating because he was scared. He thought it was this real dude. It was like, dude, I apologize. He was actually apologetic throughout the whole time. You know, and also we did a stunt with the breaking of the bottle. Took us 2 hours to do that particular stunt.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how many times did you have to throw that bottle or like do that?
2 hours because the stunt coordinator Dennis, when he first showed me the stunt, he hit his stunt double in the head with the bottle. Yeah, no, it was a very serious stunt. So I mean, we had to do a take after take. And before Nathan and them can come on the set, they really had to be very clear that no one would get hurt because those were real bottles that we were throwing. I mean, we was rehearsing with plastic ones, you know what I'm saying? But with the real shoot, of course, they had to break on the cement. So it was a really intense night. You know, it took us about 12.5 hours just to shoot that one scene.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, I was laughing. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny too because it's like, you know, they're looking up, you're looking down, and you know you're looking intimidated, and then it's like, you know, at first Castle is, you know, trying to play like he's tough, but it's like the more that you was like looking down, and you know it was I actually thought it was pretty funny.
It reminds me of like whenever you've lived in an apartment building and the people above you are loud. You know, you get all you're like, I'm gonna hit that with, so you hit it with the broom or whatever. You you tell them to be quiet. You're in your own way, but you don't go up there. Like if they were to come down, like you were yelling at Castle, you was all like, oh okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize for disturbing you.
Absolutely.
That's how I felt. Castle was all tough until somebody actually came out and like yelled at him.
For a minute there, I thought you were gonna actually come down the stairs.
You know what? I tried to do that in the beginning. You know, I think they let me go with one scene, but yeah, of course it didn't work.
Didn't work
out. Yeah,
Stay focused. Stay focused.
Stay focused.
That's it.
Too bad. Too bad. I would have liked to see Castle get in some fights.
Okay. Well, let's continue on. So then after.
Yeah. So they have Leo.
Yeah.
And they're hiding and running and hiding and running, and he's kind of like their therapist throughout this whole thing. He's like, oh, so you guys are together. Oh well, you know. This is why I really believed him. He went up to Beckett after they were fighting, and he said, you know, live in the moment, you know, because what you have right now is important and not in the future. If these problems might drive you apart in the future, don't think about that right now. Think about what's working right now. And that's what really made him seem likable to me, because he seemed to genuinely care about Beckett and Castle, and he's a great actor, that guy. Because
I totally agree on that part too. That's when I was like, I believed him, you know, and he felt so, you know, empathetic to Castle and Nathan. So it was like, yeah.
It was hard to find out that he wasn't really who I thought he was.
I mean, I didn't trust him.
No.
Nah, not really. I mean, it's just like his whole personality. He was just kind of like too calm, and just from like everybody kind of played a witness or somebody who's kind of too quiet on Castle, they always turn out to be like that
episode.
guy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like Leo played his role as being innocent, but overall, I said in my mind, I had a secondary opinion about him.
See, I thought for some reason I was like, it's the nun. The nun did it. That's what I thought. I was like,
it crossed my mind too, the nun, just because, like I said, I thought she was witch with a capital B.
It was the mean lady.
Yeah, the mean lady. But what was interesting about when Leo was having the conversation with Beckett, he struck a nerve with Beckett, because when he said that, you know, live your life now, it makes more sense than worrying about, you know, the future.
Yeah.
Like she was really trying to avoid having this conversation, and she was avoiding the conversation because he knew that what he was saying was right. And so she had a moment. I felt like she had a moment where she was like, okay, you're right, shut up, get out of my face. And it was not something, you know, she doesn't really like to address issues and her feelings.
Yeah.
no.
And so when he hit that nerve, she was totally uncomfortable with it, because she's in a different, what's the word I'm looking for? She is she's in a new world with this whole love thing.
Yeah,
And
out
so
of her
she doesn't-
element
yeah,
a little bit.
I thank you. She's out of her element, and she doesn't know how to really express it.
But it's like any personal issue that you may have with yourself, especially a significant other. When other people kind of butt inside your business, like, hey, you don't know what's really going on. You only heard a bit and a piece of it.
Yeah.
Because she asks us, like, why were you listening to our conversation? And
But did you? I mean, they were in the room.
I know.
The size of like.
Like
did
this
you,
room right now.
Did you not expect that he was not going to hear? And y'all
mean-
kissing?
I know, I know.
You know, but
But still, at the same time,
Yeah.
she's a woman. She has feeling, and you know, most women are more private, especially about their relationship, especially when they having doubts about their
Not when they're
relationships.
mad, they're not.
It just depends.
right.
Not at him. But just like when it kind of concerns other people, most women do like to keep things private. And because Becca is a private person, well, you know, in the beginning, again, kind of relates back to them kind of hiding their relationship from everybody in the on the all her co-workers and everything. So now she has this guy who's a stranger, who's a witness. Why she be like listening to my business? And I think that was a big issue with her, because now it's like Castle's not there to help support her, because Castle is her support just as well. She's Castle's support. So now she's like, I'm alone with Leo, and you're asking about my relationship. You shouldn't be talking to me about this because I can't defend as much as I can if Castle was here with me.
Right.
Yeah, and Castle left.
yeah.
Castle left her, which I thought was ballsy of him.
But a very good point you mentioned about how he was listening on a conversation. You know who does a great job listening? The fans of AfterBuzz TV who listen to us on iTunes. So listen, you guys, make sure that you guys go to iTunes and you download all of the shows here on AfterBuzz TV. We have a lot of great shows for you: scripted, reality, comedy. We have something for everybody. So make sure that you guys go to iTunes, click on AfterBuzz, and you'll see our great iTunes page with all of the great stuff. And make sure that when you go and download the Castle episodes, make sure you download it. Make sure that you rate and give us a comment. And please keep us in the top 10, okay? Keep us in the top 10. It's free. Free download. And then also don't forget about the podcast app. And what the podcast app does is it organizes all your subscriptions. So for all the different shows that you have subscribed to on here on AfterBuzz TV, it just organizes, it downloads it for itself, and it just puts it into your podcast app folder. So guys, make sure you do iTunes.
Definitely. So, so Castle left Beckett, which I thought was a huge thing, and it was a turning point in the episode. So they have a chance to make a break for the Chinese restaurant, the 24-hour Chinese restaurant.
Yes.
And so
I've never seen a 24-hour Chinese restaurant.
I have.
I have.
Have you? And it's in and it's in the hood.
Well, I don't live in New York, so I don't know.
Okay.
I would assume
Yeah.
it's a city that never sleeps. I
Yeah.
mean,
Absolutely.
they
do
have to
them,
have it.
absolutely.
Okay.
They have them in New York.
But I want to point out that while all this is happening, back at the precinct, they're really working to figure out where Castle and Beckett are. And they're key kind of to figuring out that Dolan, the mob boss, isn't the one who killed the priest, because they were best friends, I guess. And he turns out to be an informant to the FBI. So that's a huge turning point, because right as Castle's leaving to make his break at the precinct, they're figuring out that they're not going after Dolan as the murderer. He's an informant. So wherever he is, you know, Beckett and Castle are nearby, and it's kind of this pull and tug for the witness, because he wants to get whoever killed his friend.
But it's also kind of key, though, like in any kind of like murder investigation, especially when dealing with the FBI, it's always somebody that's an informant. And they kind of got the key information from the video when the priest and Dolan was actually having a conversation. When the FBI when the car pulled up, it was an FBI agent, you know. And just then when they kind of got everybody involved, it's like, hey, who is Dolan? Is he an informant? Is he a mob boss? And like you said, it comes to find out he's an informant.
Well, he's both, I guess. I mean, he is a mob boss, but he's helping the FBI.
And I guess that's probably key why the O'Reilly family wants Dolan dead, because he's probably like turning information in on the family, and that's probably why he's in witness protection.
Well, that is why he's in witness protection, and so that's like the turning point. And Dolan picks up Castle and wants to find. It all happened really fast. They picked up Castle.
It did.
Castle isn't a very good at bluffer. Kind of gives away where they're hiding. They send one person in. Beckett takes him down.
But he was also very smart, because it was not really hard to figure out. If you think about it, it wasn't really hard, you know, being that they were on the run. They had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And then it was only Castle by himself. So although he's horrible at bluffing, but the guy was pretty smart in figuring out how it would be easy to figure out where the two of them were at.
Yeah, that was pretty. You can tell he's a mob boss.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he knew what to do, and Castle tried his best not to give it up. But I think Castle automatically trusted him a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, he felt that he really wasn't gonna hurt him, and I feel like Castle has really good intuition with people. You always find Castle trusting the person everybody else thinks is guilty of something. So happens really quick. They send somebody in. Tables turn quickly, and Leo's got Beckett's hands duct taped. She's got, you know, Dolan's guy all duct taped up. So he's really the murderer.
Yeah, and like you said, you kind of figured it out.
I didn't.
I didn't figure it out. I was trying to figure out, like, who the hell is the murderer, because there were so many twists and turns in this particular episode that it was, you know, obviously it kept my attention going, but it was just like, you know, after every commercial, it was like I was thinking, okay, who did it? And so that was the cool thing. One of the things that I also liked is we got to see more of Chief Gates.
Yeah.
She was a little more involved because Castle and Beckett were gone, so she kind of had to hold down the fort down at the precinct. So we got to see a lot more of her this time, and she was nicer.
Yeah, she's nicer. I thought it was hysterical when Castle's mom told her she was an awful actress. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, she was like, "You're an awful actress." She's like, "Yeah."
She's like, "What? Where's my son? You're terrible at this."
And she's like, "I'm not leaving until you find out where they are." And she's like, "Where's that coffee machine that Castle brought?" And so they were like totally just.
It's funny because I would be intimidated by her, you know, by Gates, and Castle's mom's like, oh, "You're a liar. I'm gonna go get coffee."
When it comes with parents, when your trust me, when your child is missing or you're not sure where your child is, it could be the pastor, the president of the United, it could be anybody, and it's like I'm giving in what you say. I'm not leaving until I find my child, and so I can totally relate to.
I thought it was funny.
The great thing about the precinct, I also like, is that Castle and Beckett's parents actually kind of bonded. You know, under the circumstances of being stressed out that their child was actually missing. And, you know, they kind of joke around about the baseball and the actress thing, but then they really actually kind of got to know each other on a personal level. And by the end of the episode, you know, she's kind of like rubbing his face and, you know, saying nice things to him. And it's kind of shocking to Castle and Beckett. They're just like, wow, Mom, Dad.
Yeah. Did you think it was like a friendly?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
At first I thought maybe they were going to like hook up or something.
Can't.
But I don't think they'll do that.
Please.
Too much for one episode.
Yeah.
I think it was friendly.
Daughter, son, mom, dad.
Hey, it's been done before. Watch Teen Mom. You can see it.
I believe it.
It's on there, real life.
Okay. And so is there anything else that we want to...
Well, to wrap it up, they all kind of... Leo and Dolan kind of connect, and they're supposed to meet under a bridge or something, and Dolan tricks him. And ultimately, Leo's taken into custody.
Yeah.
Dolan was going to kill Leo, and Castle kind of talked him down from it, saying, you know, the priest was your best friend, and you, like you said, he never gave up on you, so don't give up on him. Don't kill this guy, because the priest didn't want you to do that. He never gave up on you because he wanted you to lead a better life. And so by you not killing this guy and letting us take him to jail, you're not giving up on your friend, even though he may not be here anymore. So I thought that was a nice way to kind of wrap it up in a pretty bow. He's going into protective custody, and ultimately, I guess, is willing to serve jail time for the things he's done. So I think it worked out nicely.
Yeah, I was totally satisfied with tonight's episode. I liked it. I liked the fact that we got the parents. Meet the parents. I thought that was cool. I thought the relationship. Every week we see a different. We see something different happening with Castle and Beckett's relationship. So I was totally happy with tonight's episode.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm kind of start liking the challenges of their relationship and stuff. It's more like the growing pains that they actually starting to develop throughout every episode, and it kind of relates to real life. It kind of relates to actually like working with somebody and being like intimate with somebody. So it's kind of like we have our issues inside the job and outside the jobs, and sometimes they brings the issue outside the job to work. So it's kind of like, be careful who you date.
Yeah, I think it's nice with Castle though. It always has things everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
I don't fight crimes, I don't chase down murderers, but I have relationships with people just like they do. So I think that's the nice thing about Castle. I stay interested because of the murderers, but I come back, I think, because it's a relatable show. So I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Glenn, let's go a little more into you and let's talk about your experience working on Castle. So this is your first time working on Castle. So give us your thoughts and your perspective. Like, what was it like working with with Nathan and is it Stanya?
Yeah.
Stanya. So what was your experience like? You know, working with the two of them for those 12 hours.
Like I said, I mean, it was really beautiful. I mean, first of all, Nathan was scared of me for the first couple of hours I was on the set. So once he warmed up to me and everything, it was pretty cool. Stanya was like so beautiful, you know, and I mean, but they were just such a you know, a friendly, loving. I won't call them couple, but just it's a group of people, man. It was just it was a beautiful experience, and like I said, going through the stunt, he was very patient, very patient. And very trusting, you know, so it just allowed me to just, you know, be the actor and be the artist that I came on the set to be. So they were very caring. And also the reason I said I really enjoyed Leo is because he was cracking jokes throughout the whole time. I was on the set. He was all laid back, was funny. So to see him, you know, to see the ending of this, it kind of threw me off for a second because I'm like, this dude, I mean, he was a comedian the whole time I was there. So, you know, to see him, you know, flip the script at the end and be the bad guy, you know, it was a really good twist for me.
So you didn't know the entire script of the story. You just only had your scene.
No, I had the whole script. I read it up into my scene, and then I read a little bit past because I wanted to see the full episode. You know, I wanted to see how it turned out.
Gotcha.
You know, live, and I didn't want to know the whole end result type of thing. So it was kind of cool that I didn't. You know.
Okay.
I know it must be strange knowing these people personally. You met this Leo character, and so that must have shocked you even. You know, if you have a relationship with that actor, when you see them be a murderer and have like no feelings at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
I'm a sociopath. I have homicidal tendencies. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I was like you throughout the whole show. I was trying to figure out who done it. You know, I mean, I was like, Dolan, what's going on? You know, I thought they was gonna go back to my character and say that I did it. You know, but no, seriously.
The guy in the window.
Yeah, seriously. So, but when Leo did it, it was really shocking. You know.
Oh, it was a good episode, though.
It really was.
Looks like fun.
I like how you fake his injury.
Oh yeah.
He faked his injury and then like duct take his ankle together.
I was still thinking that at some point you were gonna come down and do something else. Like I figured, like when they was running or something, where y'all going? You know, and then maybe you was gonna like fix your, you know.
Thank you.
I thought you were just gonna like come down, and I was expecting, you know, something more, like you were gonna help them because they kept being on this chase. And what was interesting is, you know, you're in the Bronx, and so like they're running around and there's like nobody out.
So not believable. I feel like there had to be some homeless person somewhere. I mean, it's New York. There's people everywhere. I mean, maybe that's just the hustle and bustle downtown, but I was expecting somebody.
You know, another thing, I talked to the director about that too because it was just completely dead on the block. You know, and I even asked him about that. You know, when they was walking off, should I run behind them or whatever, or really go down there and go in person type of thing with him. He was like, nah, you know, but it was kind of weird for me as an actor. And also coming from New York type of thing, you know, to see that it was just this vacant lot out there, you know. When
I was watching that scene, I totally could tell that they were either at like they were at Universal or like the Warner Brothers lot. It looked so the neighborhood just looked so dead. I was like, okay, for people that are not in LA, you know, we have a lot of studios, and so I was like, this is totally Warner Brothers or
I think it's shot at Warner Brothers. To be honest with you, it is, right? Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't look like New York. At least from when I've been there. And I don't think any city is quite that quiet.
Quiet.
Very quiet.
Only 3 people on the street.
Yeah, right? Like, come on. There had to be at least one more person. But that's okay.
Well, we did shoot it at 3 o'clock in the morning, so, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys shot that at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really? Yeah. And so you started at 3 o'clock, or did you?
Nah, we started at 8 at night, and it went to like about 7:30, 8:30 the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Long night.
A long night.
Wow.
Friday night to Saturday.
So were you able to meet any other cast members? Friend of the show, Tamala Jones is, she's a friend of the show. Were you able to?
No, it was just Nathan Stana and Patrick.
Well, it's late. I bet everybody else was like, I'm going home.
Right. Right.
See you next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're no stranger to TV. You've appeared on a lot of things. I've seen you on Law and Order. I've seen you on CSI New York, which I personally love that show.
Thank you.
You've been on The Closer. You've been on The Events.
Yes.
My Name is Earl.
Great episode.
And so, do you have any other TV shows that we can expect to see you on soon? Will you make any other appearances on, CSI New York is still on. The Closer, I think, has one more season. So will we see you on any more TV shows?
Well, CSI New York, they're also thinking about bringing Simon Cade back, because I was one of the bad guys that killed off a couple of the cops.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but they don't know. They
Okay.
don't know yet. So, I mean, that Simon Cade it's always an option for them to come back to, because when the episode ended, this cop shot me, but they don't know if I died or not.
Oh, that's
So-
like a past episode of Castle that just
yeah.
happened.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
You can come back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So bring Simon Cade back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So do you ever get tired of playing the bad guy or the tough guy?
Nah, not right now, man.
Yeah.
It's too much fun.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would love to play some cool, fun roles, but playing a bad guy, I mean, what more can you ask
I
for?
feel like a lot of people say that. They're like, it's so fun to be mean, because when you're acting and you're being mean, it's just acting, and
Yeah.
it's fun. And
It is.
it's not like real life. Like when you're mean, you should probably feel bad about it a little bit.
But also,
Well, it's easy for y'all to play mean.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Guys.
Just
First, I thought you meant
Yeah.
me. I was like, why?
No, I'm talking about the two Buck brothers over here.
That's right. That's
I
right.
need to go to the gym after.
Stay in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Eat the Wheaties, baby.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I really quickly, you were in Die Hard with a Vengeance with Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson. Okay. And I've seen that scene several times. What was it like working with Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis?
Oh man, the most amazing experience in my entire life. That was my first major feature film. I was able to be on the set with Samuel Jackson for 3 weeks.
Wow.
We was eating lunch with him, and,
Yeah.
and this was before he just took off and blew up. I mean, so he was sitting there giving us advice daily, and just to see him metamorphosize into his part, where he would go into it, and when they say cut, he'd come back and talk to you like this. Sam, we need you. I mean, it's just amazing. So it was just an amazing experience. Bruce Willis, off the chain. I mean, they give so much. So it was just for that to be my first film out of the gate. It just really set the standards for me extremely high.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you have another film that's coming out called Lineage.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Lineage, it'll be released next year. It's a father and son type of story, but it's a gritty urban action drama.
Okay. Are you the tough guy again?
Yeah.
What a shocker.
I play senior who starts off the lineage, who starts off the crime and violence, and it's a flashback in the '60s.
Okay.
So
Oh, fun.
the bad cat back in the day, you know what I'm saying, that passed it on to his son. So it's going to be really intense. I saw a few of the pieces from it, and it's really gritty.
Okay,
Really
and
gritty.
then really quickly, anything else you're working on?
Right now, we're in the development of doing a one-man show.
Okay.
That's going to be released also next year around February or March.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Nice.
All right. Well, listen, we want to thank you for being a part of Castle for our recap. Let's go into news. No news and gossip, but let's go into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so in 2 weeks, Castle will return, and now they will have a Christmas theme.
A dead Santa.
A dead Santa.
Aw.
Who killed Santa Claus?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I feel like, with all the political correctness these days, happy holidays, like Christmas. I'm surprised they're doing like a strictly who killed Santa. But I'm excited for it. It looks really funny. And so my only prediction is that it's going to be kind of a lighthearted episode. I feel like
Absolutely.
with the holidays coming up, with the breaks coming up for all of the shows, I think they're going to leave us, in a good mood next week. I'm kind of hoping.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Okay.
It's just another Castle episode, and I think that just because it's Santa, I think it's still gonna kind of be like super, super aggressive in some cases because Santa is like a pack. When you kind of kill one, you have other people kind of like I have to defend, our rights and stuff. I mean, like any Santa Christmas movie that you have seen where something kind of tragic happens, it's like everybody's like a pack, and I think it's gonna be like super aggressive. I think that Beckett and Castle will actually have a better relationship on this episode, and I just think overall it's gonna be definitely a great episode, but I just think it's not gonna be relaxed. I think it's gonna kind of leave us with like, hey,
Larice, I totally agree with you. I think they're gonna totally go
Dark?
just crazy. I mean, look at all the different themes that they have. They have things for Halloween. They've had things for Thanksgiving. They've had stuff for Christmas, Valentine's. So they really go there with the murders, but they make it funny with all of the different things. Like even in tonight's episode, how there were so many things that kept happening that we kept laughing at, like the cell phone and the phone booth. Like Castle was like, who uses a phone? Like I haven't seen a phone booth in ages. So I think the murder is gonna, be, gritty, like it normally is, and it's gonna be a lot of people who's gonna be the suspect of the murder, but they're gonna make it funny. So that's just what I think.
And also, just to add on that, you guys are, I think, you're very close to being right because I'm in talks to being on that particular episode. So just in case, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have me being a gritty guy or what. So
he's gonna be a tough Santa.
Well, a tough Santa.
Tough Santa.
And a brother
you
Santa.
never know. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So I might be seeing you guys in a couple of weeks back on this show.
Yeah,
Nice.
please.
Hip hop Santa.
Okay,
That's
so where can the super fans of Castle find you?
You know what? You can find me right back here at the Buzz. Get in touch with Bamm. He got all the info. So, guys, check it out. Larice is coming up next year. And also the one-man show. And also Bamm will be all plugging that for me when it's ready. So.
Okay, well, there you have it. You can find me on social media at Bamm Ericsen.
Yes, you can find me at Paige Sell on Twitter.
And you can find me at Indie Music.
So we want to thank everyone for watching another AfterBuzz recap of Castle Season 5, Episode 8, After Hours. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank
you.
you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.